Hi everybody, I'm Rob Smith. Welcome to CopTool.com. I'm here with our friend Evan today. We're here to talk about not just two amazing tools from Dewalt Milwaukee, but more importantly, the batteries that run them. There's not a lot of new functionality and capability, and we wanted to put these two guys in the same room to see how they did. So the big news, of course, though, in their batteries comes in two very different forms. The first one came from Milwaukee earlier this year, which is part of their 18-volt line, but this is a 9.0 amp hour battery. The thing is huge. It's got a lot of power in it, and it lasts a long time on a typical drill or anything else we put it on. Whereas Dewalt surprised all of us with a completely new technology. These are part of their 20-volt line batteries. They're 6.0 amp hours. But they actually have a mechanical switch inside that reconfigures the cells and turns it into a 60-volt battery instead of a 20-volt. So with this new battery technology, both brands came out with amazing new cordless miter saws, which you see here today. Now, they're different for sure. The Dewalt is much larger. It's about 10 pounds heavier.
Yep.
Is that right? And it's got a much more powerful motor, and it's got a 12-inch blade versus the Milwaukee, which is much lighter, but it has a smaller motor, and it only turns a 10-inch blade. So we figured this was a great opportunity for us to take both of these saws, put them in the hands of an expert, had him build our new workbench, which, by the way, we'll have another video to show you that whole process. So Evan, looking at both of these saws, I'm not gonna lie, when I see big numbers like 120 volts and I see 12-inch blade and a bigger motor, I'm drawn to this thing. It's got two huge batteries on it, and it seems like this is going to be the one I want, even if it costs more. But there was something that really stood out between the two of these. What was that?
The Dewalt is a lot more powerful. It has a bigger cut radius, about 14 inches, whereas the Milwaukee only has about a 12-inch cut thickness for your boards. The Dewalt has a lot of power and winds up and sounds like it's a pretty powerful saw, could cut some serious stuff, but it just didn't last as long as I thought it was going to last with those two big batteries on it. The Milwaukee seemed to last a lot longer.
That's something that we feel that a lot of people don't really notice, is that when these things switch into 60-volt mode, they do switch from 6 amp hours down to 2. So now we've got the equivalent between the two of these guys of only 4 amp hours versus the 9. Yeah. So in theory, especially turning a smaller blade with a smaller motor, that guy's going to last longer. When you put these together, use them on the same project, just how much longer did that last?
The Dewalt seemed to last about a couple hours less than the Milwaukee. It had about 255 cuts to it, whereas the Milwaukee had about 300 or a little bit more after I stopped keeping count because this is the end of the day. So essentially I thought that it was going to be a lot longer lasting saw, but in the end the Milwaukee took me to the end of the day. It finished the job and it worked out well for us.
All right, so at first glance then, if this is going to last me a lot longer, this seems way more appealing. But there's one other benefit that we really haven't pointed to besides larger capacity, and that's this guy. What is this?
It's the adapter to be able to plug it into a wall outlet.
So this guy, when your batteries run out, I'm going to take it right here, snaps on the back. We now have a corded saw so it can keep going.
Yep. Yeah, if you're out on a job somewhere and your batteries die and you have a cord or an outlet nearby, you can plug it in and just continue on with what you're doing and finish what you need to do.
So not only does it keep going, but now you're left with a forever running, higher capacity, more powerful saw. But I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose in being portable and being cordless in the first place.
Yeah, if I were going to be buying a cordless saw, spending the money on a saw that you wanted to be able to carry with you and go about anywhere you needed to go, I would look more towards the cheaper saw and the lighter. You could carry this thing around anywhere, and if you're working up on a roof somewhere and needed to carry it up a ladder, you're going to be more prone to carrying this thing up a ladder than you are that thing. So
sure, I guess you would. Well, and the other thing that I noticed too is that this guy retails for $7.99, I believe.
Yep.
So we've got $800 here. It's $5.99, so
yeah.
$200 less. These 9 amp hour batteries, which you only get one with this, correct?
Yeah.
All right, these run $199 as it is, so that's the difference. So I feel like though, with this one running so much longer, I purchased that one extra battery. At least for my typical use, those 2 batteries are probably easily going to last me all day long, which leaves the one question. So if I relied on that, I'm super portable, but I'm giving up the extra capacity and power. So what exactly do I need to cut that I can't cut with that?
If you're cutting large crown molding, or if you're cutting some older barn wood or older recycled wood that has been aged and it's
Really
pretty
hard stuff.
wood,
Yeah.
you know, if you're cutting a real wide board, you know, if you're trying to cut some wide trim for a job, then you're going to want to pick up the bigger saw to, you know, make those cuts. Whereas this one, it's just a more versatile saw. It's going to cut everything you're going to need to cut. So if you're going to purchase one to use for a job and you're wanting to cut anything and everything, then this would probably be more one that I would go to. That'd be more of a specialty saw, like someone that does crown molding or something big. So,
okay, there's also one other issue that we haven't talked about yet, and that's actually charging. So this guy came with a Milwaukee rapid charger.
Yeah.
So when we ran this all the way out, we put it on the rapid charger and we filled up this 9 amp hour battery in only 45 minutes. Is that right?
That's
okay.
pretty close to 45 minutes. Yeah.
Now naturally though, of course, as we talked about, this guy ran out of power first. So we had 2 batteries that we had to charge. So we took these and put them on the fast charger that Dewalt provided for us, put them on the charger, and it took over, or just under 2 hours, I should say, to charge these guys.
Yeah, it was
correct?
a dual port charger and had both batteries charging at the same time, and it took them pretty close to 2 hours, maybe a little less.
So not only is it going to run out quicker, but also it's going to take longer to recharge, which means you're going to have a second set of batteries, which leads to the other point, which is a backup battery to double the life of this thing takes one $200 battery. Whereas
or
to double
not even
this,
a $200 battery. If you were running your M18
any
batteries,
18-volt battery that
you can
comes
run
from
your
Milwaukee.
5 amps, your 4 amps, your 6 amps, any.
That's a
I
good
mean, you don't
point.
essentially have to have a 9 amp hour battery to run this saw. You can run it off of any battery that you use in your normal drill.
That's a good point. Whereas with this new FlexVolt saw, you've got to have the $150 FlexVolt batteries.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you have to have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to purchase another $300 worth of batteries just to have one backup, which at the rate they took us to charge, we burned this out in less than 2 hours using it to build this.
Some people might have a couple of these laying around for other tools that they have, but I mean, you can't use a 20-volt battery in this saw. You have to use one of the 60 volts, and you have to use 2 of them. So it is a big deal right there.
All right. Thanks again, Evan, for lending us your expertise today. We appreciate it. Of course, that's only half the story. For the rest of it, be sure to visit us at coptool.com for the full write-up. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Rob. This is Evan. Thanks for watching.